Hola, bienvenido a Spanish Amigos. Great to see you in another video, and if you're new, welcome to the crew. Today, we are talking about a very interesting topic because knowing when to use por and para can feel random at times, or sometimes you find yourself that you're trying to guess. And this is because both of them can be translated to for. An example is, I lived in Mexico for 2 years, or that gift is for my friend. In Spanish, viví en México por 2 años. And ese regalo es para mi amiga. That's why I created this video, because I am going to help you with the differences between por and para. Mind you that the differences are conceptual, not grammatical. So throughout this video, I'm going to share with you very simple heuristics or shortcuts so that instead of you having to translate or guess which one you should be using, you begin to think in Spanish and your conversations sound much more natural. And instead of just trying to guess, por and para take a meaningful use in your Spanish conversations. So let's start with the heuristic number 1. Here, we're going to talk about cause versus purpose. When you think of por, think of why something happened or the reason or cause of something. For example, lo hice por ti. I did it for you. Estoy feliz por la noticia. I am happy for the news. I am happy because of the news. And even in the previous example, lo hice por ti, I did it because of you. Again, it's the cause. It's the reason of why something happened. Then when we use para, we're going to think about what something is for. Think of the goal or the purpose of something, as in, lo hice para ayudarte. I did it in order to help you. Él estudia para aprender español. He studies in order to learn Spanish. So to recap this heuristic, whenever you can use because of, we're going to use por. And whenever you can use in order to, we're going to use para. A quick example would be, for example, I'm going to the bakery. Voy a la panadería. Voy por pan. I'm going because of the bread. And voy para comprar pan. I am going in order to buy bread. So these ones, they're sometimes interchangeable in the sense that you could either use por or para, but when you understand what is it that you want to explain, whether you're talking about why something happened, the reason or the cause, you know it's por, and when you are thinking of the purpose or the goal of something, which is, for example, to buy the bread, para comprar el pan. So that's that for the first heuristic. The second heuristic that we have, we're going to talk about movement versus destination. So in this one, when you think about por, think of movement through or around somewhere, as in, ¿Quieres caminar por la playa conmigo? Do you want to walk around the beach with me? Or viajé por Europa. I traveled throughout or around Europe. Next, when you are thinking about a destination or going towards somewhere, you're going to use para, as in, vamos a salir para España mañana. We are going to head out towards Spain tomorrow, to Spain tomorrow. Next, el tren va para el centro. The destination is downtown, right? So, el tren va para el centro. The train is headed towards downtown. So when you think about this heuristic, por is the road and para is the destination. Next, we have the third heuristic. And this one may be the one that is confused the most. Here we're talking about an exchange and a recipient. So for por, think of an exchange, think of trade, think of a price, right? As in, pagué 50 pesos por el libro. I paid 50 pesos for the book. Vendió el coche por 60,000 pesos. She or he sold the car for 60,000 pesos. And then an exchange, for example, te cambio mi jugo de naranja por tu jugo de mango. Shall we exchange my orange juice for your mango juice? Or let me change my orange juice for your mango juice, right? We're talking about exchange, trade. And then recipient, we're going to use para. So when you think about para, it signifies who is receiving something, as in, este regalo es para ti. This gift is for you. El mensaje es para ella. The message is for her. Compré flores para mi mamá. Es su cumpleaños. I bought flowers for my mom. It's her birthday. Pretty straightforward. And once you start breaking down the shortcuts, you begin to understand por and para are not that random. Let's jump into the last and the fourth heuristic. Here we're going to talk about duration versus a deadline. So por, think of how long something lasts, time span, or as in like duration of something. As in, viví en México por 2 años. I lived in Mexico for 2 years. That's a time span. Or debes hornear el pan por 45 minutos. You must bake the bread for 45 minutes. And then when it comes to deadline, think of para, by when something is due, a deadline, or again, when something is due. As in, la tarea es para mañana. Homework is due tomorrow, is for tomorrow. Los boletos son para el viernes. Tickets are for Friday. So once you start breaking down and you understand that wherever there's a time span, you're using por. Whenever there's a deadline or something is due, you use para. Again, these 2 words don't feel that random, and now you start thinking in Spanish. It starts to make a lot more sense. So once you incorporate these heuristics, the use of por and para stop feeling so random. You don't have to keep guessing which one is which. They become meaningful. And that's a big tool or a very good way in which to learn Spanish. So you're not just memorizing things, you're not just like hard guessing, but once you really start thinking in Spanish and it takes meaning, you don't have to memorize a lot, you just have to put it into practice, and it becomes second nature to you. So your Spanish begins to feel more natural. Let's just hammer it home with one last set of examples to see if you got the gist of these heuristics. I am baking a cake for my friend, and it has to be in the oven for 30 minutes, right? For my friend, somebody's receiving it, and then it has to be in the oven for 30 minutes. I might have said seconds, so 30 minutes. That's a time span. The translation would be, estoy haciendo un pastel para mi amiga y tiene que estar en el horno por 30 minutos. Then the next one is, I bought this gift for you for your birthday, right? So for you, there's a recipient. For your birthday, there's a cause, why something happened. Compré este regalo para ti por tu cumpleaños. Sure you got those ones right. And remember, keep using these, whether it's in sentences, writing them down, talking to yourself. However you prefer to practice, remember that practice makes perfect. And by having these heuristics, if you're able to refine these heuristics, you take your Spanish to a whole other level. I'll tell you, as a native speaker, when somebody can finally use their por and para, it tells me their Spanish is at a whole other level. So I hope you enjoyed these shortcuts. Let me know your thoughts. I like to keep this channel interactive, get to know where you're at in your Spanish journey. And that's for me. I will see you in the next video. Gracias por tu atención.